Let's get more now on our exclusive story that Keith Andrews will be the new Brentford head coach after signing a 3-year deal. Let's get a fan's perspective. Billy the Bee Grant joins us this afternoon. Good afternoon to you. I don't know if you've seen the poll on the Sky Sports website that is saying, is Keith Andrews the right man for the job? Only about 33% were saying yes. What's the sense that you're getting from Brentford fans you've spoken to today?
Listen, thanks for having us on as well, Rob. And it's interesting. I mean, obviously, I run the Beesotted, or co-run the Beesotted Brentford podcast, so we've been talking about this a lot the last few days, obviously. My personal view doesn't necessarily reflect the fans, because I can understand why there's a massive kind of fallout and people are very, very nervous because Keith Andrews, obviously, he's never managed in the Premier League before. And they're obviously nervous because we've had a break. Thomas Frank, brilliant manager, brilliant bloke, lovely person. He's been great for us, taking us to another level. Okay, and the expectation is that somebody will come in and you'll probably get a name that people know and they'll take us up to that next level. And obviously that opportunity was there. The thing is, you've got to know this about Brentford. Brentford never do things the way that everybody else does. They do it completely and utterly differently. And that's what I love about our club. The fact is that what they do is that they look at the situation and they say, tell you what, let's do the right thing. Let's bring in the right person who we feel is the right person, not the person that the whole world feels is the right person. The thing about football really hates change. So what they do is that, if you notice, there's a conveyor belt of managers that get rolled out any time anyone gets sacked, and they're expected to come in. Brentford don't really operate like that. They say, look, this is our situation, this is our ecosystem, this is how we work, and we want the person who comes into the job to be a Brentford person. We made mistakes beforehand where we had people that didn't do things the right way, did things our way, and we've learnt along the way, and now that's what we do. So I think with Keith Andrews, what's happening is really interesting, and I knew nothing about Keith, I'll be honest with you. I know a lot of things about Brentford. I knew nothing about him. The only thing I remember, and I'm going to say fair play to Sky employed him as a pundit. And I used to do quite a few fan bits with Sky back in the day with Sean, for the EFL stuff. And when he got Keith, I went, he's quite clever. He's quite astute. He's quite on it, The only thing I knew about him, next thing, he's employed at Brentford. Now, when he was employed, there's a statement that actually said, Brentford is extremely happy to see Keith join us today. He's someone we've known for a while, and we've always had in mind for a role at some point in the future. So it's not like they plucked him out the blue. They've been watching him, right, in his coaching roles and everything else they've done. Whilst he's had a more wide-ranging coaching role in the past, focusing on set pieces as a specialism is something we think he has the qualities to do extremely well, and I'm sure his staff can help him to develop as a coach too. So the fact is that, the set piece coach, it's nothing that he'd done before, but they looked at him for, we think he's good, we think we can develop him, we'll bring him in, we'll give him a role, get him in the house, and then we can watch him for a couple of years and see how he develops. And they've developed into a person that they trust will be a person that they think that can do the job. And Brentford aren't stupid, because £150 million a year the Premier League's worth to them, okay? Right, we can't afford to use that. We got £10 million out of Thomas Frank. We could spend that on somebody, but they feel actually we're more comfortable with somebody who knows what we're about, knows our systems, we know his jokes, we know everything about this person, and he's been doing the tactical stuff alongside Thomas. We think he's really good. So listen, I don't know. Brentford know more than I do. So I'm actually quite confident, because they haven't got a lot wrong in the past, Brentford. And when Thomas Frank got the gig, he was an assistant manager for a couple of years to Dean Smith. But everyone forgets Mark Warburton. When he got the gig at Brentford, he was a banker. We got him in, he was working in the bank. We got him as a technical director. Next minute, he's got a job as a manager. He was actually going to give somebody else a job. That was his job as the technical director. But then he came and said, give us a job, Matthew. Give us a job. And he gave him the job as the head coach, the manager of Brentford. So Brentford do this a lot because they like to get the best person for the job. And I really like that. So I'm actually quite excited about it, because, what can you do? It's quite exciting.
Do you think then that you personally are prepared to back the appointment? Because, as you touched on, Matthew Benham has a history of getting things right, whether it's coaching appointments, whether it's the players that the recruitment team bring in, that historically, particularly in the last few seasons, it seemed that Brentford as a club have got a lot of things right.
Yeah, I mean, if you sit down with Matthew, he's a really, really clever bloke, right? Firstly, he's a massive Brentford fan, so unlike, some of these other owners that come in, they say, oh, football club, I want that. And then they come in and they do various things which may or may not work out. He's a Brentford fan, but also he's a very clever bloke, works in the tech business. He's basically taken his sort of kind of tech knowledge into the club and he slowly brought it in. He's found it difficult because, as he said, football doesn't like change. So he's come in with these really, really, far-reaching ideas. We got laughed out of town when, we said that we were going to use statistics to kind of weed sort of the not so good players out so we can actually kind of focus on the better players. And you remember that the media absolutely took us to pieces, and they were hounding us and laughing at us. All of a sudden, like, everyone's doing it. We got set pieces coaches in 10 years ago, and everyone's going, "What's this all about? Sleep coach, set piece coach." Now they're all doing it. So we're kind of quite ahead of the game because we haven't got as much money as anybody else. So we have to be clever about how we go about doing our business, So Matthew has sat down there, and that he sat down and he thought, who's free now? This person's free, that person's free. If they come in, what will they do? What would they do? Also, you have to remember Thomas Frank. He's been brilliant for Brentford. His team been brilliant for Brentford. They've taken us to another level. But now he's gone. This is an opportunity for us to go, tell you something, let's now change things. We can have a look at what Thomas has done, and maybe the things that he didn't do so well, we can change that up. And I know that Keith Andrews was part of this whole analysis thing, analysis about what we did right, what we did wrong, what we're going to do better next year. And they must have thought him, saying he's got some really good ideas. He's really good with the players. He's a good people person. He's really good for the club. So I've got 100%. Like I said, I sit down with Matthew Benham, and I listen to him, and I'm quite in awe by how clever and how wide-reaching, because I think football needs to be a lot more kind of out there a little bit, and I think that his ideas are brilliant. So I trust him 100%.
Just finally then, to combine a couple of things that you said there, you spoke about knowing how much the money, the broadcast money is worth to Brentford, more than £100 million. Thomas Frank came in and was appointed from within, but made a pretty slow start. I think lost 8 of his first 10 games. Do you think that Matthew Benham, if it is a poor start this time, will be as patient, knowing how important Premier League football is now to Brentford?
Okay, it's a very good question, that. But at the time, Championship football was very important because Matthew Benham had a real vision to get to the Premier League. So, and Thomas Frank was put into place. He lost 8 of his first 10 games. He only drew 1 of them as well. He only won 1 of them. And I remember, again, as a podcast, like I said, we do Beesotted, Pride of West London podcast, and I remember sort of bringing up and talking to someone senior within the club, shall I say, and we were panicking because as fans do. Oh no, Thomas Frank's come in, he's only won 8 games. Oh no, what's going to do? And they said, don't worry about it, it's fine. In our world, he's ticking all the right boxes, he's doing all the right thing, he's been unlucky, don't worry, it'll turn itself around. But but we've lost all these games. No, don't. And they were really calm about it. I couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? And then next minute, I think the next 21 games, we probably won 14 or 15 of it, and it completely turned itself around. So what they are, they're big vision people. They look at the bigger picture. A lot of these football clubs look like 2 yards, 2 days in front of them. But Brentford have got a bigger plan, and they think, does it fit in with a bigger plan? Is it everything happening to plan? So the question that you've asked me is that, yes, if he loses 8 of the first 10 games, but everything he's doing the right things, behind the scenes, he's doing the right things as far as all their kind of analytics and their statistics will happen, they'll carry on with it because they say, listen, if we carry on doing this, everything will turn itself around. So, listen, we just have to see. He's got big boots to fill. We know that, and that's going to be difficult for him. But the fact is that that a club like Brentford backs you. They backed all our managers so far. The ones that decided to go on their own business and turn their back on them, they said fair enough. But the ones who have had the manners and stayed with us, they've backed them 100%. Thomas Frank would have had a job for life. And Keith Andrews, as long as he's doing the right things, saying the right things and doing the right things in the job, they will back him 100%, I can tell you that.
Benny, I love the positivity. You convinced me Brentford are going to win the league next season. Thank you very much indeed.
That's right.
Good to speak to you.
That's right. Cheers.